All right. Another day, another painting session. I got a new microphone. I'm sure, and I haven't set up all the proper settings that you can hear by the crinkling of my stuff here. I did it because that other microphone that I have was taking up just too much space on this small desk, and I need all the space I can possibly get. So hopefully this one sounds pretty good. It's this little lav mic here on my chest. So here's hoping. I think it sounds pretty good. I tested it some. It's not like I just plugged it in and did nothing, but definitely different, I think. But anyway, today we are continuing our non-metallic metal guy. See? And then we're going to do the back of him today, because we've been pretty much just showcasing the front, but we're going to do the same exact techniques on the back, and we have some different stuff that we can work on the back, so it's a good way to experiment and see if anything looks a little bit different or if the techniques are a little different. So let's take a look. All right. So just like before, remember what I told you about taking pictures? I did the same thing with this guy, and I'll show you just so you can see exactly what I'm working with. So we zoom in here. So see how the picture tells me exactly where the light is going to be and where the shadows and the darkest areas are going to be. I just have this right next to me so that I can keep taking a look at it and not having to guess or shift with the light itself. I can just look at this reference and makes it a whole lot easier. I think I said it before. Don't ever let anybody tell you like, oh, that's cheating. This is actually not cheating. It's a literal picture of the same model. It's not anything else. So they can go find somebody else to bother with that. So first things first, let's get our palette ready. So first layer, dark orange brown. Oop. See, here's that complaint that I have with Pro Acryl. I'm opening it up and it's got the cap of paint on it that I'm gonna have to either let go on my palette or peel it off with my hand, getting paint all over my hands. Neither are ideal. But still, I've actually found that I really, really do like these. The texture that comes out of the bottle just straight is wonderful. It's got a great thinness already to it. It doesn't need much thinning at all. In fact, very little to be effective and not be, too bold or too thick to work with. It's great. I want to get more colors in Pro Acryl for sure. So still using our wonderful grabby sponge tool, just like the front. And we'll get our handy dandy notebook of blank sheets so that we can do our testing. I just realized I still have the autofocus on. Let's turn that up. I wish I could have it on so I don't have to mess with the manual focus, but my camera's too old for that. There's no clean. They didn't think that I would ever use this as a pseudo webcam whenever they made this. There we go. Looks good. Let's get started. Zoom in. Let's focus up. So looking at the picture, we're gonna actually start with the, let's do the chest, or the what looks like a chest, but it's the back shoulder blades. Let's start with that. So we're gonna go the tops here. And remember, this is that first layer, so you don't have to be too careful. You're establishing just some initial thoughts on the model here. And it's gonna get on the collar there. Don't worry about it. It's getting in the right places. Do the collar really quick too, just because that's easy and right there. There we go. I wonder if like getting a fisheye lens would be good. Something that can make this field of view a little bigger. Because I feel like it's hard to get in the focus area here. It's been kind of my biggest issue. And then we'll do the leg a little bit here, because the bottom of here is very dark. But actually, I think we need to push it a little bit harder. Right here. And on the back of the pauldron, right there. Yeah. Needed to push that a little bit more, because there's definitely some areas on the pauldron, just like that. It's very similar to the front, but also different. Same but different. One of the best sayings when you don't know how to describe it. You know, it's just like this thing, except not at all. But you understand what I mean. Or not. That's also okay. I tend to ramble. Okay. Just looking here. Let's get a little more paint. Get a little dry. There we go. Okay, just evaluating where we have paint so far. Let's do the leg a little bit. So we're looking right here. It's going to be one of the shiniest areas. Right at the ball of the calf. And then at the bottom, just above the boot or the shoe. Gosh, I really got to be in camera. In fact, actually, let's do this. This must be disorienting. Sorry. There we go. That's better. Getting the calf. And then not too much on the lip of this little arm guard here. It's very, very, very dark down there. But it's like got a sharp edge right on the corner. Right here. Okay. I think we're looking pretty good with our first layers. A little bit there. Okay, so let's do the secondary color. Let's see how it looks. So now we're going to the orange brown. Sorry, I have like a little bit of a sore throat today. I'm going to be coughing into the mic, which everyone loves, I'm sure. Nice little ASMR cough stream. Where the real money is. Last stream was pretty fun. We had a lot of conversations about ghosts, about Bigfoot, about primal fear, not the video game, but the human condition, which is pretty fun. I like streams like that because it gives some perspective on something other than painting. Although I love doing this and I like talking about it, so I could also just do this. All right, here we go. Let's go secondary highlight. Still lots of space to be bold here, because this is where you're essentially creating shadow. And everywhere that you don't do this is an obscured area. Closer to the top here. There we go. And there we are. What was surprising to me is just where the light fell and how dark underneath here is, because it's very dark. It's much darker than I thought it would be. Just barely catching the, and by the way, I know that I'm hitting the belt and everything below. That doesn't matter. Remember, like with the front, you're going to be able to paint those all after, because they're not going to use the same technique. But I'm trying to hit that lip of the breastplate, or the back plate, right there, that you can see. Okay, let's go pauldron, opposite side. This one has a very bold front area, like this. At least according to my picture. And the secondary highlight is still much more of a full-blown leather, layer leather, than the future highlights are. Because it's still like the base color of the armor. So, like I said, don't be afraid to be bold with this one. Okay, let's do that calf. Super bright on this, essentially a sphere right here. And the ridge here. And we're gonna do that same thing that we did in the front, where we're gonna edge highlight all the super sharp ridges to push the effect into areas where you actually didn't do it. There we go. By the way, we're at 9 followers on Twitch. Thank you for everybody who decided to follow my silly painting streams. I truly appreciate it. I didn't think I was going to get anywhere near this many people interested. I'm dead serious. I thought I would be doing this alone for a little while, just as a hobby. And it still is. It's not like 9 is a lot, but it's a lot to me. Even my wife was like, "Oh, people enjoy watching it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." That's awesome. So it makes me happy to see that. So I appreciate you guys. Okay, I think we're just about done with this secondary highlight. You can see it starting to build. See how it, like I said, we're making those shadows. Let's go to the bright yellow ochre and really make it look like gold. Oh man, you can really hear the painter shake, the shaker, can't speak English. The paint shaker, the little balls in there with this new microphone. I wonder if it's more powerful or it's just because it's connected to my chest instead of on the desk. Either way. At least it's not annoying. And I have room for my phone and my notepad and everything right next to me. Oh, how convenient desk space is. Oh, and you can hear all of those, all my sniffles and my coughs and grunts and stuff. I need to figure out how to do the settings on this properly. Next time. Let's go. This is the butter highlight. My favorite color. Butter. Let's really do the tops here. Tops and the edges as much as we can. Still allowing the orange from before to come through. That's why, like I said, you do a lot of it, a lot of the orange before, because if you cover up too much of it with this, you won't be able to tell the tone underneath, which needs to be that orange. For us to give it like the characteristics of the gold that we're going for. There we go. Looking pretty good. All right, let's do the flip test first. So back, which I think that looks really nice. Although I think I want to pull that orange down a little bit further into the bottom there, because it just looks too flat. Just to give it some texture, and then go over it again with maybe the base color. But front, back, good transition. Good transition there. Yep, that's exactly what we're going for. Good, good. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Keep her moving. I'm not from the Midwest. I don't think I'm legally allowed to say that to all my Midwesterners. Okay, let's apply some of the high highlights. And then we'll do, like I said, we'll come back with some of that darker orange for the bottom of that back plate, because I think it's just a little too flat. It looks like it's a different material. Okay. Get these super shiny. Boom. There. There. Definitely up there. Over here. The corners. pauldron, the apex of that calf, the ridge, just a teeny, there we go, that's enough. And then over here, oh, you know what, I forgot that little arm thing there, but there, that's really enough. So focus up here. There we go. Non-metallic metal. All the way around. Except for that little arm thing. Let me fix that really quick. It's bothering me. Okay. Let's hit it with the butter. This is the one thing that's a little frustrating about this sponge method. It's kind of hard to replace these sponges all the time. If you're going back and forth with these colors, it's not that hard, but it's a little annoying. There we go. It's a little something there. Okay. And the top highlight. Okay, and it's just a dot, boom. Boom. Just to give it a little shine. All right. See how fast that was? Dang. I feel like this was faster than the front. I think because we did the front in a couple different, areas. We did like the whole chest before I even attached the arms. Which we might attach. Why don't we finish up the back of that sword? We'll do that too. We'll do the back of the sword that I did a tutorial on, just so I can show you how to do it on stream. So I did this sword, which is for this guy, in a 1-minute clip style. I posted it on TikTok and YouTube. The non-metallic metal silver blade, which I used this sponge to do it. So I haven't done the back yet. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's so easy, and I thought that it wasn't going to turn out as good as it did there, but that's going to take this guy to the next level. When I attach that sword, oh man, like that contrasting against the blue and all this non-metallic metal, that's going to look fantastic. I'm so excited. Okay, let's do a little more of this mid-orange highlight here, just to give and what I mean by this is I'm gonna do a little bit of stippling too much into the shadow here so that I can go over it with the shadow again, and that way it'll sort of give it a little texture instead of being so flat. There we are. Just a little something like that. It's nice to be able to explain this because some people would see that and be like, "Oh, what did you do?" And it's easy to show, but not so much to explain sometimes. But here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Go over it again with the darker color. And then we're going to go over it with the super deep, like the original shadow color too. And I know it's going to take away the highlight at the bottom there, but we'll just reapply it. But this is just to reestablish the texture that I'm looking for. There we go. Let's put that on there. There we go. See if I can get this without hurting too many other things. There we go. So now it's got a little bit of texture there. Doesn't look quite as flat. It's exactly what I wanted. And you can even use this to reestablish some shadows if you went a little too far. There we go. So now it looks a little, there's a little bit of something there instead of being that flat base color. And now we go back and reestablish those highlights, but we'll let that dry a little bit. We can also do the back of this little leg pauldron thing. That one needs just a tiny little highlight because you really still can't see it from the back here, but let's just give it just a little something so that the transition is easier or lighter. And this is that mid-tone. It's not the high tones. There we go. Just a little something. It's good. There we go. Yeah, the transition this way looks a lot better. Let's do a little more top highlight on the back of this right here. Top of this lightning bolt. There we go. In the little Sigmar face. Now I've gotten a suggestion to glaze the whole thing in this bright yellow ochre, like with a very, very light glaze. I'm considering it, but I really actually like the way that it's not choppy, but the way that the textures come out so far. So I may not. Maybe I'll do like a before and after of that if we get there, but you know, I'm really liking the way it's turned out so far, so I might not. Okay, let's do the bottom lip, and then that will essentially do it for the back. The back of our guy. And then we would start on his little detail areas, like the belt and the back sword and the cape. It's way too big. There we go. Much better. Let's do this. This is just that lip. The bottom of the back plate, because it's a sharp ridge. And even in a low light situation or a heavy shadow situation, if some light hits it, it's going to be brighter than normal. And it's got those 3 little rivets. When I paint those, that's going to push it even further. Let's hit it with the butter. Oop, maybe not. Not with that sponge. I had a mix of something else in it. Be careful. Don't think that if there's a little paint trapped in the claw, that can accidentally, like it happened to me just now, mix in the sponge, and you may end up ruining that mix. But again, don't be too concerned. You can always fix it. You've seen how easy this technique is, so you can always go over it again. All right, boop. Right on the ridge. And I'm gonna real quick spot fix with a brush. See that little dot where I went a little too high? Definitely a little too high. So anywhere that you want to do some fine detail spot fixing, exactly what I'm doing here. I just took a little bit of the dark color, and with my paintbrush, I'm just dotting the area where it went a little too high to reestablish the boundary. There we are. Much better. Now one last little top highlight. And actually, we might even do that with the brush here. Man, this thing's really picking up a lot of background noise. Specifically, like when I was using the brush just then in the water cup. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. No, it's fine. Just a little highlight there. Boom. Okay, let's hit these little rivulets. Okay. Feel like my hands are extra shaky today. There we are. Let's zoom in a little bit. And focus up. Let's take a look at our work. I think that's looking pretty great. There's the back. There's the front. Transition all the way around. Now there's a non-metallic metal guy. Boom. All right. Let's push that contrast by doing the edge like we did for some of the areas of the front. And where we would do something like that would be like the edge of the arm right here in that kind of the armpit. And we're gonna start with the mid-tone orange just in that arm. Let me focus up here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Just in the armpit there. Mainly again to show you that there's an edge there. The light is able to capture the edge. Same thing on the other side. Flip it over. Figure out how to hold this like that. And just like with the front, this is just gonna push that technique just a little further. What it's doing is tricking the eye into thinking that that texture goes all the way down versus it hard stopping. Now we're coming back with the butter. A little higher, a little closer to that peak highlight. Don't go too far. Just like that. And that's it. Do the same thing. The other side. Just at the top. There we go. And again, that's just for certain angles like this. See? Now the transition, when you turn it, looks a lot better. The only other places we can probably do something like that is just the edge right here. And the edge right here, because that's a sharp corner. Just like that. But I went a little too high in that corner there on this side, so we'll fix it. Come back with the original color and just take it down a little bit. There we are. It was just a little too high. Whoa! Everything turned off there for a second. Hope I'm still streaming. Okay. Looks good. Let's see where else. Let's do the underarm, under the pauldron little edge here. Coming back this way. Just like that. Same thing on this side. Hopefully you can see me. There we are. Not a whole lot. Don't need to go all the way up into the crevice there. In fact, you don't, because you want there to be a certain level of there's no light there. Or at least very little. Okay. Same thing with the butter here. Very little. Essentially just the edge. And again, it's just to trick the eye. There we are. Now our transitions look good. You know, looking at it in the camera, you can't see how white certain areas are. But I'm just not thinking it's a good idea to glaze. Maybe I'll do a test. Let's do a test. Let's test by really thinning down some of the butter here into a glaze. And this is a good opportunity to show you what a glaze is. So let's show you. So there's the butter. Zoom out. So got a lot of water here. Let's put a lot of water. A little bit of that butter. It's going to be crazy thin. All the way out here. So essentially, see that? You can barely see it. That's what you're looking for. That level of thinness. Now let's try it on the little area right here because we can fix this the easiest. Let's zoom in. And this is just to give it that more yellowish color. That's all. Which I don't know that it's doing. Possibly. Let's let that dry. Maybe. Kind of like it. Nah. not enough of a change for me to want to do it for the whole model. I think I like how bright the certain areas are. I think I'm going to let it be. And if anyone says anything, forget them. That's what I say. Too bad. This is my project. All right. So, front, side, back, side. I think we did a great job with the transitions here. This is going to be definitely a good example of how to do this. And then when we come in and do the details like the leather, like the little leather bits on the legs and the back of the cape and everything like that. But let's actually, we can do that right now. Let's do the cape just so that the contrast looks really good. Maybe for a finishing photo. Just a big old brush. You'll see. I'm going to use for this just to get it on quickly. I know that I'm getting it on the leather bits there. That's okay. I'm really doing this just to establish the color profile of the model. It's gold plus blue. Because the cape can really be any color you want. Okay, just being a little bit more careful on this side, just because we worked so hard on that leg. I'd rather not get blue all over it. There we are. It's looking good. And when we do this cape too, it's gonna look awesome. Everything's about this is gonna look awesome. I'm just excited for how this is gonna end up. All right, let's do a quick 360. And I was going to do the sword, but we're running out of time. We'll save this other side of the sword for next stream. That'll be a good project because I want to teach you how to do this on stream. And we'll do it from beginning to end on this side. And we'll do non-metallic metal on the arms here and put them on the model. And that'll look really cool. I'm excited. All right, here's the 360. I think that looks pretty great. Don't you? No? Well, I'm not doing it any better. So, so you're gonna have to deal with it. But I think we did a great job. And this was all with the sponge, as you saw. It's totally possible without using the brush as heavily as some people imply it has to be done. It's definitely a more entry-level method to make it look like this, but it still looks fantastic. All right, everybody. Appreciate you. Next stream, we're gonna do the sword. Let's close it down with a little side-by-side of what we're looking forward to. Boom. I think that looks pretty cool. All right. See y'all later.